My parents asked me to marry Noah to save my brother's life and the only company our families had left standing. I wish I were exaggerating. I wish this whole thing was some melodramatic diary entry from a bored teenager. But no, this was my actual life. My dad owns a medical supply manufacturing company. They make mobility aids, prosthetic parts, orthotic braces, the kind of stuff nobody pays attention to unless they need it. Noah's mom owns the distribution chain that moves those supplies across half the country. Their companies have been tied together for 20 years. Our family spent every holiday together. I grew up next to Noah. We were friends, not lovers. Not even almost. More like two kids trapped at adults' dinner tables, stealing each other's fries, complaining about homework. My little brother, Caleb, has muscular dystrophy. His infusions, meds, and specialized therapy cost more than my rent, car, and student loans combined. Insurance wasn't enough, and my parents covered everything. I always knew it was expensive, but I didn't understand how bad it had gotten until later. Then both companies crashed at the same time. Dad's equipment started failing inspection and needed expensive replacements. Noah's mom lost her biggest contract in a lawsuit fallout. Within months, both businesses were bleeding out. They needed a merger to survive, one giant, legally unified company that could restructure debt, qualify for subsidies, and reassure investors. But the investors wanted family stability. They didn't want two CEOs and two families fighting for control. They wanted one legacy, one leadership line. A united front. So my parents sat me down one night with spreadsheets, legal documents, and Caleb's medical bills stacked like a gilt tower between us. They told me the plan, marry Noah. A legal marriage binding the two families would satisfy investors and guarantee the merger. The new corporate insurance plan would fully cover Caleb's treatment. His entire future depended on this. When I asked if they were actually using my brother as leverage, my dad said, "This isn't leverage. This is our only option." I called Noah, fully expecting him to say the whole thing was insane. He didn't. He said his mom had already pitched the same plan. Said we could keep it platonic, separate bedrooms, act married in public. Just paperwork, he said. A weird PR stunt. 3 months later, we had a small wedding, barely 20 people, mostly board members disguised as close family friends. Caleb was my best man. He kept whispering that I didn't owe anyone my life, and I kept telling him it was fine. But it wasn't. The company bought us an apartment to look married. 2 bedrooms. Neutral decor. A living room staged like a catalog set in case someone dropped by. Sometimes Noah and I watched TV like bored roommates. Sometimes we barely spoke. His family checked in constantly. Mine reminded me to look united at shareholder events. The merger went through. The company stabilized. Stocks rose. Everyone breathed again. Caleb's treatments were finally fully funded. Then Noah started seeing someone. Her name was Lila. He told me after their 4th date, nervous as hell, like he expected me to explode. I didn't care. I told him to be discreet. If he was happy, I didn't want to be the reason he wasn't. Then I met someone too, Evan, a firefighter. I tried to explain my situation on our 2nd date. He thought I was joking. When he realized I wasn't, he looked at me like I'd been living underwater without noticing. For almost a year, Noah and I lived this strange double life. Roommates in one world, romantic partners in another. Covering for each other. Lying to our families. Pretending for investors. Pretending for shareholders. Pretending for everyone except ourselves. Then one night Noah knocked on my door looking like he'd been hit by a truck. Lila was pregnant. He said he wanted out. Wanted to be with her. Wanted a real family. Not this corporate arranged PR marriage. For once, we were perfectly aligned. I told him we'd file quietly and figure out the fallout later. But quiet didn't last. His mom found out, stormed into our apartment like a tornado, screaming about how he'd ruined 20 years of work. My dad showed up soon after, pale and frantic. They kept repeating the same thing. If we divorced now, the investors would panic, stock would crash, the board would revolt, and both families would lose everything. Then came the suggestion that made every part of me shut off. Noah's mom said I needed to get pregnant too, so both families would look stable and expanding. My mom didn't argue. My dad nodded like this was some brilliant crisis solution. I stared at them in silence because there was nothing left to say. No point arguing with people who didn't see me as a human anymore, just part of the corporate machinery. I packed a bag. Walked out. Went to Evans. He didn't ask why I stayed so long. He just asked, "Do you want to breathe now?" And for the first time in a year, I did.